Welcome back to the Crochet Creatives with my friends over at yarnspirations.com. It is our journey of the fabulous fall wreath, and we're moving on today, and we're going to start the large grape here on page number 2. We're gonna work through these instructions. You'll need a little bit of stuffing today, but without further ado, you'll need a 4mm size G crochet hook today, and I'm continuing to use Caron 1 pound. Let's begin our journey next. So let's begin. We're gonna start off with the magic ring. If you don't want to do a magic ring, just chain 2 and just then do your magic in that way. So if for a magic circle, you're just gonna lay it into the palm of your hand like this, and then you're gonna take the strand that leads to the ball and you're gonna rotate your fingers and go over like this. Remember, there are other tutorials available on our YouTube channel that are slower and just have magic rings just like this. So let's do that again. So we're just gonna lay the yarn, look at that there's no knot, rotate it around 2 fingers and turn the hand over and cross over like this, and then use your that finger, whatever it is, ring finger, to be able to hold it in, and then it's pinched down. So you're going to want to slide the hook underneath the first strand and just pick up the second and pull through. Okay, so just slide up underneath and pull through, and then just release it off of your hand. So when you go to crochet, you need to crochet over top of this strand right here, and also the other strand that is leading to the end of this it. So in order to lock this in, I want you just to place it and just pull through, and now that will be there. So let's begin officially round number 1. So let's begin round number 1. You're going to need either a stitch marker or just a spare piece of yarn in order for you to be able to count your rounds. We're gonna go in a continuous round so that there is no slip stitching involved in your grape. So what we're going to do is that you're just gonna immediately into the ring itself, going in, you're gonna single crochet 5 times. So let's count those out together. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And before we continue on, we're gonna pull the strand that has the tail, and I'm just gonna pull this string a little bit out here. We're gonna pull that tight, and that's gonna close in this ring. Okay, so we're just gonna pull it tight. Now here's the thing, this will fall out. So I want you to turn it over to the back side and then grab just a tapestry needle and take that tail and put it onto the tapestry needle so that you can lock it into position. With magic rings, they will fall out unless you're secure it with the tapestry needle. So on the back here, you're just gonna go back and forth a total of 3 times. So once. So what's the advantage of a magic circle? You won't have any holes in the top of your work, so you won't end up with a grape that has a hole in it. So back and forth 3 times, and then safely cut that out, and we're gonna move on into round number 2 next. So we're gonna put this back on, and before you do that though, I want you to place your hook underneath the last stitch you just formed and pull that stitch marker through. So that's going to be able to allow you to count your stitches as you're going around. So then put this on and tighten it back up, and your first stitch is the 5th stitch away from the end. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's gonna be here. So we're immediately going to start there without doing any slip stitching at all. And let's begin round number 2. In round number 2, we're just gonna start in that stitch, and we're going to apply 2 single crochets into that stitch and to all of the other ones that are in all the way to the stitch marker. So how many stitches were there? There was a total of 5. So you're going to put 2 into each one of those stitches. So at the end of this, you will end up with 10 stitches as a total. I don't worry about counting stuff like that, but just for technical reasons, you know that. So in the very last one where the stitch marker is, that's the last one in the round, you are still going to apply 2 single crochets, but I want you to move up the stitch marker to the last one just done, and so that'll help you to keep an eye on where to go next. So let's pull that tight and move on to round number 3. In round number 3, we are going to then expand this out a little bit more, just like it would be if it was the top of a hat. So in the very next stitch that's available to you, you are going to apply 2 single crochet. So 1 and 2, and then in the next one is just 1 by itself. That's gonna be the repeat through the whole round up until you get to that stitch marker. So the next one will have 2 single crochet, and then the next one will just have 1. Please do that all the way around. This is round number 3. So when you get all the way around, your last one will be one by itself, and that's not magic. That's just the way it's going to be for the repeat, and it'll start bowling, so just make sure it just bowls towards your face, so it'll be bowling out towards you, and move that stitch marker, and that will complete round number 3. Let's just move on to round number 4 next. Rounds number 4, 5 and 6, the next 3 rounds, and you'll want to move the stitch marker each time so that you'll keep count. It's just one single crochet in each of the stitches going all the way around. So as you pass that stitch marker, just move it on up and count that as a round. So please now do rounds number 4, 5 and 6, and I'll see you back here in just a moment. Okay, rounds number 4, 5 and 6 are done. So now we're going to move on to number 7. We're now going to start reducing down. So starting in the next 2, we're going to put those 2 together. So just going into the next stitch, pull through, and then go into the next stitch after that and pull through, and then you'll have 3 loops on your hook, pull through all 3, that's a 2 together. And then the next one is going to be one by itself. So we're doing a reduction, so the next 2 are together, so in, and then go grab the next one and in and pull through, and then the next one is one by itself. Please do this all the way around. This is round number 7. So what we should do now is number 7 is done. So there's a slight hole. You want to grab some stuffing at this point, and don't overstuff it so that it looks like it's bleeding. Just stuff it enough so that it will keep its shape. And I just guessed on how much I needed, so just keep jamming your finger in that little hole to get all that stuffing in there. Okay. And now let's begin the final round of number 8. So number 8, we are going to put everything together, and let's begin that. So just starting in the next one, pull through, and the next one pull through. So it's a 2 together all the way around, and then you'll be ending up with a little hole at the end, and we're gonna use our tapestry needle to close it in as we go. Okay, so please do this all the way around and meet me back here in just a moment. So now that I've come all the way around and we are done. So I want you to just trim your tail and just pull that tail through. So you'll see a tiny little hole at the top, and you don't want to, you want to keep this strand so that you can attach it to the wreath if you want to. You could just tie it on, or you could use those greening pins. Pull out your stitch marker that you've been playing with, and then just feed that tail onto. Okay, so now that it's on, you're just gonna collect it like clotheslining. So just pull it through and then pull tight at the end of it, and it will all close. I get a real thrill out of pulling it all and closing it in at the end. I take the wins where I can get them. And so now that I've gone all the way around, just pull tight and that will close it in. And what you may want to do is just leave on this tail so that you can tie it to the wreath if you wanted to, or you can use those greening pins that they're suggesting, or you can do it dangerously and just get the glue gun and just make sure you have lots of water and a lot of blowing power just in case you burn yourself. Hopefully you don't though. So what I would do is leave that tail, and this is the large grape, and you only have to make 3 of these, and then you can just push it and shape it and do anything that you want to it, and then you can be part of it. So you have all the other components with all your other stuff that we have, and you can see really quite fun. So that's it for today. It's the large grape wreath, and this is another free tutorial. This is the Fall Fabulous Wreath, and I'm your host Mikey of the Crochet Crowd, as well as my friends over at yarnspirations.com. Here come the hands. You better duck now. We'll see you again soon. Bye bye.